Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well this morning. Today, I wanted to talk about creativity. Perhaps one of the most rewarding things about having children, or spending a lot of time with children, is you see they have this incredible knack for creativity. It's not something that's ever forced. It's not something that comes from the mind. It's something which comes from the heart. It's aspiration meets innovation. It's inspiration meets curiosity. And as you watch a child painting a painting, or you watch a gifted adult who's in tune with his heart, writing or doing something they truly love, creating, you can almost see the energy levels just filling up. Now, one of my biggest fears sending my children to school was this natural creative flow, this incredible desire to create and bring colour, vivacity, magic to a blank piece of paper would be coached out of my children. I'd heard about the education system in France. I'd heard about it in England and in many countries across the world, the United States, Germany, Switzerland. And it seemed that the focal point has changed over the years from simply allowing children to play in their early years to really getting them reading, writing, and passing exams from the age of 4 or 5 onwards. And the reason for this seems to be that schools now have to look good compared to other schools, that their pupils have to pass exams or get a high average grade from a very early age, because that way the school will finish higher up a league table compared to other schools. And I'd even heard stories that from the age of 5 onwards in France, that children start doing homework. So not only are they working in the day, sitting at a desk, being asked to sit still, but they're also then having to go home and instead of playing with their parents or playing with each other or playing with their toys, they're being asked to do homework. And it really makes my blood boil when I think of children not being allowed to play. If there's one time in our lives when surely we have the license to do whatever we want, within reason, when our brain is developing, absorbing information like a sponge, and happiness is crucial to development, why on earth would we send them to school and make them sit at a desk and not move for 6 hours, and then send them home with more work to do with their parents? The reason I get upset about this is because I see in the eyes of my children what they truly love doing. They hate being given boundaries. If you put them in any kind of limited environment, whether that's time-wise, whether that's space-wise, because all they want to do is tap into the rich flow of life and do what instinctively comes next to them. And one thing the education system does is it really coaches this natural intuition we have, this natural instinct, this natural flair, this natural desire to create out of us. Now, I'll have conversations with my wife or some of my friends, and they'll tell me that they're not creative. And I'll tell them that they were born just as creative as me or anyone else. They think I'm some crazy creator because I've written books, because I write music, because I'm always looking to create something else. But for me, every single person, every human being on this planet is a creator. It might be that they create in a different way to me. Maybe mine is the more obvious way where, I make a noise with my music or I write something with my pen. But I absolutely guarantee that these people who claim they're not creative have just been told at a very young age that they're not very good at doing something. Something has been cut off in their flow of creativity. Perhaps it's a third chakra issue, where they've had to shut it down to protect themselves because someone has been critical of them. Or maybe something happened, which ultimately means that their energy flow is blocked in some way. It might be that they've lost the confidence to express themselves. But I was shocked when I painted with my kids, having not painted for 25 years, 30 years, and having been told at school how rubbish I was at art. I was actually shocked when I just let go. When I picked up that paintbrush and I just let go and I started to paint something that probably some people would really dislike, but some people would also really like, because I just expressed myself in that very moment. And I think often in our lives when we get sent to school, it's all very black and white. This is right, this is wrong. Everything seems to be harnessed. Everything is taken from that kind of mathematical doctrine that there is always one answer, and there's only one answer, and there can't be two answers. From that very scientific perspective of looking at life, rather than the spiritual, where you need to prove something to be correct, for it to be right, and for it to be acceptable. And it was Salvador Dali who said, "Have no fear of perfection, because you'll never reach it." And I think the word perfection is actually one of the things that holds people back when it comes to creativity, especially when they're adults. Because all the things that they're coached in, that they're very good at, people get to a point where they feel that they have to get it right. And if they don't get it right, they're going to disappoint themselves, they're going to disappoint somebody else. Now imagine you told that to Picasso when he was doing one of his amazing paintings. Or to Mozart when he was writing one of his incredible songs. The truth is, there is no right and wrong. There is no definitive answer. And when it comes to creativity, the whole point is that you don't do it in a way that it's been done before. There's no E equals MC squared when it comes to creativity. Mess them all up. Play with them. Be bold. Get it wrong. I think it was Einstein who said that in every single experiment he did to try and prove something, he got it wrong thousands of times. And that was the whole fun. And the thing about being black and white and having set answers and living in that very conditioned, linear mind, placing the boundaries around you so that you don't make the mistakes, so you can keep it all correct. The problem with that, it's not much fun. Whereas if you're creative, if you just pick up your paintbrush or throw paint onto the palette, an explosion of colour, an explosion of life, suddenly you start to have a lot of fun. And not only that, you're coming from a place of the heart, just by the nature and by the virtue of being random and bold and courageous and beautiful and, well, not judging yourself in what you do. In fact, it was Picasso who said that every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. And I challenge you to look at your life and to see which elements of your life have been allowed to remain as a creative artist, as someone imaginative, as someone who is willing to let go in that particular area. Because we all have areas where we've been told that we have to be very rigid, that we have to be right, that we have to keep our house tidy, that we have to wear these particular clothes because these are the ones that we're told are fashionable. And the older I've got, the more I look around at people on the metro or in the street who are wearing this very daring colour combination, who are not scared to express themselves in every single thing they do. The people who are unique and not just the sheep in the field who just follow each other. And I think society has been taught to look at these people as if they are a bit different and a bit weird, when actually all they're doing is being themselves. And if you hear a voice within you saying, "I can't paint, I can't write, I can't sing, I can't write music, I can't do landscaping in my garden," then to me, you should actually go against that voice and you should say, "I'm going to paint, I don't care. I'm going to landscape my garden. I'm going to play a song. I'm going to sing out loud in the shower. I'm going to dance. Who cares if someone says that you can't dance?" Have you ever completely let go on the dance floor and felt that incredible feeling going through you as you just throw your arms and legs around and leap around the place to music and really kind of start to marry and get in tune with that beautiful song? Oh, what a feeling. Because this voice that stops us doing things, this voice that tells us we're not good at doing things, that's not you. That's not me. That is someone somewhere who once criticised us for something and is now beating us with this illusionary stick and talking to us with this illusionary voice that actually is purely driven by fear. And one word I absolutely love is the word curious. I love the way it sounds, and I love everything that it's about. And to me, it represents everything that I see in my children. This curiosity for absolutely everything. Have you ever watched a baby, for example, who's just started to move around, and they look at the world with these big eyes and they say, "Oh, wow, look at this is incredible." And everything they pick up, everything they put in their mouth that they probably shouldn't, it's like, wow, it's a new taste, it's a new sight, it's a new world. It's like we've been beamed up to some other planet. And suddenly we have to look at this place and see all these different colours. And maybe, it's like us seeing blue trees everywhere and pink grass, 4 suns in the sky. It's just so beautiful to watch these children just discovering a whole new world. And if you could just do that, look at the world through fresh eyes every single morning and not let any past conditioning affect the way you see the world, the way you take on any task, then I almost guarantee that your life becomes sweeter. That you really start to tap into that third chakra. They call it the hummingbird energy, where there's so much courage there. The smallest bird in the world goes on the most epic 6,000 kilometer journey every year, and it doesn't even know why. It does it purely out of curiosity. Of course, there is a survival element to it, because they're going to a place which has the food and the climate for them to thrive and survive. But they do it with absolutely no fear, and when they do it, they don't do it with anyone else, they do it alone. They are unique. They all take their own route. And that is one thing that I'm starting to learn about human beings. We all kind of search for this guru-like figure who can guide us and hold our hands to that place of enlightenment, or at least to a place where we're going to feel loved and find the highest version of ourselves. But I would argue that there is no guru out there better than yourself. Of course, we need guidance at the early stages to shape ourselves and to make sure that we're going vaguely in the right direction. But all the answers are deep inside us. And not only that, everyone has a different path to getting to the place they need to go to. And the problem we have is if you get some guru who's done it his way, yes, he probably has so much wisdom, or she is probably incredibly wise, and they can help steer us to that place. But the truth is that you have your own DNA. And if you take their path, then this is not a natural path for you to take. Of course, they might guide you with meditation, things that are really going to help you and the tools that you need to equip you to get to that place. But just like when you're doing a painting, when you're being creative, probably the most important thing is that you pick your own colours. That you choose the paintbrush that suits you best. Because it might be that the guru that you're following or the person who's guiding you had a very specific thing they had to develop to get to that place. And I love Ram Dass, for example. I think Ram Dass is an incredible guy, and he's someone that I aspire to be like. He was always so articulate and always had this incredible connection and feeling with the moment. And he also had a very simple way of presenting things. And yet, he always did it with a smile, the cosmic giggle. But I should never try and replicate Ram Dass, because that's him. He came to this earth on a very specific mission. He went on a journey which took him from the United States to India. He took lots of drugs and had a great time, but at the same time, he reached that place he was looking to reach before he died. But I'm not Ram Dass. And I'm not Alberto Villoldo. And I'm not Gandhi. And so while we go on this very creative path, it's very important that we really tune into our own hearts and that we follow our own unique journey. And that's why I find astrology is so beautiful. because it gives you the map, but it's up to you to work out how you get from point A to point B and from point B to point C. And curiosity is about life in all of its aspects. And I believe that a combination of curiosity and imagination lie at the very heart of creativity. But as you grow up, what you have to have is that self-esteem to give you that confidence that what you're producing, that what you're creating is something that genuinely is beautiful. It always is beautiful, but often people who are very good and very creative always wait for someone else's opinion to say, yes, that's good or that's bad. So one of my dreams is to change the education system. As Gandhi said, be the change you want in the world. I'd really love to send my kids to school knowing that they're going to be allowed to be creative whenever they need to be. That they're going to be allowed to play when they need to play. That they're not going to be told off for expressing themselves in class. They're not going to be disciplined for standing up and walking round because they feel like it. They're not going to be accused of disrupting the class when they feel like they have to express themselves in some way. That they're not going to be sent to the corner for having an opinion or for doing something a little bit differently to perhaps how the syllabus has said they should do it. I'm not saying that we don't need rules and boundaries at some points in our lives. Of course, we can't all just charge around and scream and shout in all different directions at all times. Otherwise, life would be like some giant Monty Python sketch. But what I am saying is, let's allow people to be themselves. Let's not judge ourselves for what we do. And let's allow children to be children when they're young. But perhaps even more importantly, let's make sure that we don't kill the child inside us. Because blocking that beauty, those fresh eyes, that openness to discover, that connection with spirit, that desire to be unique, nobody should lose this beauty. Nobody in the world should be told that this is a negative thing.